Hello, everybody.
Good evening from New Mexico.
Yeah, we've missed everybody, haven't we?
I don't know. Have you all missed us?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody. We also want to apologize if the quality of our videos has changed. We're having technical issues. For some reason, my editing program will not upload to YouTube. So we think YouTube has changed or something because it just don't work. So we're having to go back to old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
So we apologize, like I said, if the quality of this isn't, what it has been. Or the editing quality.
Yeah.
Because I have to go back to my old editing program that is like going back to the dark ages.
Yes. So, Kim, what are we going to be discussing today?
Oh, you're going to love this one.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Now, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Ekin has sent us the 2015 convention. Summer convention, the regional convention.
Say that again real slow.
He has sent us the 2015 regional convention of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Excuse me.
Where are you going?
I'll be right back.
This can't be good. I don't have the heart to tell him. It's about elders. This is not going to be good. What the heck?
There's no way I'm going to sit in front of this camera and talk about Jehovah's Witnesses 2015 Summer Convention without a bottle of Whalers rum. So, what is the topic that we're going to be looking at first?
Well, I kind of just been skimming through, the program here, and I found something interesting. And as soon as I seen this, it's like, oh my God, we got to listen to this one first.
What is it about?
It's a symposium. Imitate Jesus' use of power. And we're going to be going to the sixth talk, which is kind elders.
Arr! There ain't no such thing as a kind elder. Let me tell you something. By the time we get done with these there knuckleheads, I'm gonna make Davy Jones look like a saint.
Yes, but first we got to do a
Cheers.
First we have to do a disclaimer, to ones like Spike R and Eric of Struggle, your dad, and all the other genuine elders out there that,
genuine men,
who really try to help the sheep and, who have done a great job. And they are kind elders, because they do exist. There is kind elders, so this is a disclaimer that we are not talking about them. We're going to be discussing elders that we have had the privilege or displeasure of knowing.
Well, here's the thing. I think the way that we can separate the two is we can talk about the natural elder versus the corporate elder. How's that? All of them bullshit, egg-sucking, lying sacks of crap elders, we will affectionately refer to them as the corporate elder.
There we go.
Let's drink to that.
So we are going to be discussing elders.
Corporate elders.
Corporate elders, not the natural elders. So I think what we're going to do is there is actually a new Caleb video.
Oh, good.
That was...
Cartoon? We get to watch cartoon. We're going to be entertained by a cartoon again?
Yes, we are. Okay, so there is a new Caleb video, and this happens to be about lying. Now, I know Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be, okay, so why are you taking the being truthful talk from Saturday morning's, convention, and you're talking about elders from the kind elders talk that was in Saturday afternoon? We'll make that connection for you. We like connecting the dots, don't we?
Yeah, so let's just watch this little cutesy cartoon that the, governing body so lovingly provided.
Yeah. So.
Hey. Food at the proper time. Arr, choke on that one there, watchtower.
Well, what's interesting is when he's introducing it, he says, what the governing body has provided. Yeah. Haven't we just done some videos like a couple of weeks ago where they say, the Watchtower says,
Watchtower
this
says.
is not my opinion. This is what the Watchtower says.
Right.
This says they are the ones providing the spiritual food. Duh.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if everybody's going to catch it, but in fact, the first time I watched the cartoon, I didn't catch it, but Kim did. If you notice, at one certain point, you've got these little blobs, behind Caleb. And when Caleb's dad says something to the effect that Jesus never lied, notice one of the blob is shaking his head, yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a subliminal diss against Christ.
Yeah.
I wonder if they are actually dissing Christ when having that little blob character. Because remember, the artist has to draw that in one frame at a time.
So notice that. I believe it is the one in the upper left-hand corner, the larger one. Because when Caleb's dad asked him, would Jesus lie? He goes, yeah.
So, okay, let's play this little joke of a cartoon.
All right. So...
Now, young children, too, need to learn that telling the truth is important. So, when your child lies, what should you do? Well, the governing body is glad to provide yet one more new Become Jehovah's Friend video. This one to help children imitate Jesus' truthfulness. Let's watch it.
What happened?
Nothing.
Caleb, do you know why Jehovah wants us to tell the truth? Telling the truth is like building a bridge with your friends. If you lie, they can't believe you. And they might not want to be your friend.
But, Dad, what if it's not such a big lie?
All lies are bad, even little ones. One lie leads to another, and they cause much harm. Do you remember who told the first lie?
Satan?
Right. But what about Jesus? Would he ever lie? Who do you want to be like?
I want to be like Jesus.
Good, my son. So, what happened then?
I broke it. It was an accident. I crashed my plane.
Thank you for telling the truth. Next time something like this happens, what should you do?
I'll tell the truth. And can I tell Mom I'm sorry?
Good idea. Let's go do that right now. And then we'll pick up the broken pieces.
Did you note how Caleb's father corrected him? First of all, he didn't panic when he caught his son in a lie, but he considered his feelings and the circumstances. Did you also notice how Caleb's father trained him without making him feel like a bad person? See, without accusing him, he explained to him why telling the truth is so important. He pointed out that friendship is based on trust, and that lying breaks that trust.
Interesting clip, huh? In cartoon, that they're working so hard to teach the kids not to lie.
And it's just too bad that Caleb more likely will grow up to be another corporate elder. And in fact, we have evidence of a corporate elder or two lying. But we'll get to that in just a little bit.
Yeah. We actually have another clip from this talk.
Do we? All right, hold on. Let me get my faculties prepared.
Or your senses numbed.
And that's more like it, get my senses numbed.
Yeah. But we can dissect this because this clip here reminded us of the Mura family and the whole Elder Trevor and the Rio Rancho fiasco.
Debacle.
Yeah.
So let's listen in.
Yes.
Well, we don't want to be anything like them. We don't want to imitate Satan even slightly. We want to imitate Jesus by being truthful. And Jesus taught his disciples to do just that. Notice his very clear direction at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 37. Let's turn there together. Jesus really doesn't mince words here. Matthew chapter 5, verse 37. He says, just let your word yes mean yes, your no, no. For what goes beyond these is from the wicked one. So Jesus was saying, don't say yes if you mean no, or let your no end up yes. And again, all over the world, we see that people make promises and then break them if just a minor problem arises, or if something more appealing turns up.
It's interesting how Elder Wiseman doesn't really sit into these conventions and comprehend how he's supposed to be as an elder. Hey, Wiseman, you need to change your last name because you're not wise and you're neither a man.
Dumbass.
Don't you realize that when you tell a lie, that you make Jehovah sad?
Yep, and
But
those
they can't comprehend it, do they?
and those little blobs. Oh, they may have left Caleb, but they're all around you.
Yeah. Okay, what other bullshit am I going to have to say? Well, I got to ask, am I going to have enough rum for all of this?
Half a bottle. Never know. And we're out of M&Ms.
Well, that's why the rum is out. Why are the M&Ms gone?
Because you ate them during the last...
Yes. All right, let's get on to the next clip, because the sooner we get through this, the sooner I can return to my natural self.
Isn't it true that the pull to be less than truthful at times can be very strong? This can affect both young and old alike. However, Jehovah and Jesus are truthful. Psalm 31 and verse 5 calls Jehovah the God of truth. And like his Father, Jesus also always spoke the truth. John 18 says that he bore witness to the truth. Well, in imitation of Jehovah and Jesus, we too endeavor to serve with truth. Now, Satan, though, is the enemy of truth. We know that John 8:44 calls Satan a liar and the father of the lie. And since the whole world is lying in his power, his lying influence permeates the world today. And we see it, don't we? We see that people lie to gain selfish advantage or to avoid potential embarrassment. It doesn't matter to them that lying is morally wrong. They don't care. They don't even think about it. But here's a question. Does that mean then that if something is true, we should feel free to go ahead and say it? Well, there's a caution with that. Recall what Colossians chapter 4 and verse 6 says, which tells us that our words should always be gracious and seasoned with salt. So with that in mind, we would never want to use truthfulness as an excuse to be unkind. No, but our words should always be gracious and tactful. Not all true things need to be said. Now, interestingly, at times, Jesus didn't always give people direct answers. Recall when the chief priests asked him by what authority he performs his miraculous signs. In that situation, Jesus didn't answer their question. And the reason why is because enemies of truth don't deserve information that they would use to harm God's servants.
Now, talk about the moral issue. Elder Wiseman, see, you were morally wrong by lying.
To the Mura family.
To the Muras, exactly.
Yeah.
Morally wrong. But yet, see, you don't view that as a moral issue, do you? None of these corporate elders view lying as a moral issue.
And that's why they can go in these courts or go before the cops and refuse to answer them truthfully when they're trying to find out about these child abuse cases because they feel they're not entitled to
they
the
don't
truth.
deserve the truth.
Because they
can't handle the truth.
Because they might come after God's people.
Well, I found it interesting that here again, here's the Watchtower propaganda wheel. They're making the Jehovah's Witness sitting in the audience feel like they're listening to authorities of God.
Of how to imitate Jesus.
Yes, exactly. Remember, he read that scripture, and the Pharisees. Now, remember who the Pharisees were. They were the religious leaders.
Corporate elders?
Well, they were Jerusalem elders.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, they asked Christ the question, by what authority do you perform these signs? Notice Jesus didn't answer them. It's not because they didn't deserve the answer, you knucklehead. But see, the Jehovah Witness sitting in the audience can't comprehend what's really taking place, because biblically, they're illiterate. They're stupid, because they don't think beyond what you are wanting them to think, corporate Watchtower. But here's the answer. It's a simple answer, 101. Jesus didn't answer them, not because they didn't deserve it, because the answer should have been self-evident with priests who represented God during those days. It isn't because they didn't deserve it, it's because the answer was self-evident, and that's why Christ didn't give them an answer, because the priests were the chosen ones. They were from the Levite tribe. So that answer was self-evident to whose authority Christ was performing those signs. But yet, see, the Jehovah Witness sitting in this audience is going, ooh, what a revelation. I'm not going to give anybody the words of truth who don't deserve it, when the answer is self-evident. When you have a police officer or a policeman at your door wanting to find out which one of your goddamn elders is abusing kids, you better give them the answer. But see, Watchtower manipulates the words, and the idiots sitting in the audience are going, ooh,
Yeah.
Revelations from God.
So this isn't imitating Jesus, what they're teaching, the rank and file to do.
This is corporate jargon, is what this is.
Yeah, it's legalese.
It's legalese, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now I thought that some of this was about elders not lying, and elders being forthright, and elders being truthful. So far, all of this knucklehead was really talking about is that, surrounding the Caleb propaganda.
Telling the rank and file
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to now go to the talk about the kind elders.
Oh, you mean you deceived me into believing that this was all there was just this one knucklehead?
No.
So really, you didn't think that I deserved to know that you had two parts of a talk?
No, I was trying to save your emotions and your ranting because I wouldn't want you to get all worked up.
Oh.
So I just withheld certain truth. Oh yeah, you got enough.
I think I'm just going to have to start drinking right from the bottle now. I can't believe my soulmate withheld certain pertinent information to someone who was deserving it.
Well, the thing is I told you at the beginning we have 2 talks that we're going to be working on.
Oh, so now you're blaming this on my lack of comprehension?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How could I have been so deceived from someone who was so trustworthy? Did you get it all, Jehovah's Witnesses?
I doubt it.
Did you get the puns and the points? I bet they didn't. All right, let's listen to the next talk.
Okay, so, yeah. Get the rum out.
I got it out.
Brother Jeffrey Herzog, serving as a special pioneer with the Spring Valley, New York congregation with 27 years of full-time service, will now develop the theme, Imitate Jesus' Use of Power, Kind Elders.
It's been said that the difference between rejoicing and groaning has a lot to do with who's in charge and how they use their power. And never was this more apparent than when Jesus was on the earth. Think about the power he had. He could have called on 12 legions of angels to come to his defense. Or how about how he was able to calm a violent storm, kill a tree with a word? Or when he was able to maneuver matters so that Peter was able to catch a fish with just the right amount of money in its mouth to pay a tax. Extraordinary power. But how did he use it? Well, please turn in your Bibles to Matthew chapter 11 and verse 29. And as you do, think about this. With all that power, did he ever act out harshly or out of frustration?
Jesus never got frustrated. I wonder what was going through his mind when he was sitting down braiding a whip. Because remember, the scripture said that Jesus drove the money changers out with a whip that he had to braid by hand.
It doesn't sound like kind and loving to me. It sounds like pissed off.
He was definitely frustrated. So that's correction 102, right? Okay, let's just listen to some more of this knucklehead.
So ask yourself, as an elder, what's my reputation as a shepherd?
So I think we don't have to put any more of this talk because we know where this is going. It's the typical elders are great, watchtower propaganda.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is he did pose an interesting thought. He asked the question, as an elder, what's my reputation like?
Would have never asked you.
Oh no, there would not have been one elder dare ask me that question. You wouldn't have liked the answer, trust me. But you know, that's a very honest question that elders should really ask themselves, and they should not be surprised with some of the replies that they get. For instance, when we was in Wisconsin, I'm going to relate something that was told to Kim and I, and because we were told this, a certain video is now in existence, and we will get to that in just a minute. When we was in Wisconsin, we was told by brother, we will call him Brother Concerned. Brother Concerned said, Brother Brooks, if you ever have any dealings with Brother Viagra, do whatever it takes to protect yourself. Video record it, take notes. Witnesses, do whatever it takes, because Brother Viagra will take your words, twist them around, and use them against you. And that is how Brother Concerned got deleted as an elder, because Brother Viagra did that very thing to him. He took Brother Concerned's words as an elder, mind you. Brother Concerned was serving as an elder. And Brother Viagra took his words, twisted them around, and because of that, Brother Concerned was deleted as an elder. So, because we took Brother Concerned's words to heart concerning Brother Viagra, there was something that occurred in our life, and because of that, we had an opportunity to video record Brother Viagra. So I'm going to let Kim fill in a few of the blanks right now.
What's interesting about this is this was back in 2003, and the video is up on our channel. It's called A Visit from Elders. And we didn't even own a video camera at this time. Shyla was in her interpreting program, learning to interpret, and she had to record herself interpreting. So she had to borrow a camera. So we happened to have this in the house. Now it's interesting, how all of this transpired, because then Mikey was hauled in the back room one Thursday evening.
And Brother Viagra had mentioned to me that a couple of sisters had complained about my wife's book that she had written. Now, it's interesting because when this happened, Kim and I knew for a fact that only 4 sisters had copies of her book.
Because it had just come out.
It had just come out, and we had called, well, heck, 2 of the sisters was my mother and her mother. So we knew they didn't complain about it because they would have told us right away. So we called the other 2 sisters and said, hey, Sister so-and-so, did you complain to the elders? Oh no, we were told no. But when we got to thinking about the timing of all of this, allegedly when the sisters had complained, according to Brother Viagra, the book hadn't been published yet, so Kim and I knew right away that Brother Viagratai had fabricated a lie. We knew this.
And we also knew that an elder's wife had recently written a book that was very graphic, and it was a romance novel, and there were sisters complaining about her book.
And that complaint was loud. So anyhow, when you watch the first couple of clips, notice that when Brother Viagratai comes into my home, because Kim had been sick by this time, and we weren't making the meetings because of
I couldn't walk into a Kingdom Hall.
chemical sensitivities. So the elders actually had to come to our house. And notice the first clip. I got the elder, Brother Viagratai, to repeat what he had said to me behind closed doors. So I made him confess what he said to me. So there's evidence. That's evidence right there. I made him repeat or acknowledge what he said to me. So there is your evidence that he was very well aware of what he told me behind closed doors.
And then things get interesting after that, don't they?
Well, basically what it all comes down to is that because I was trying to use the Bible, Matthew 18, and want to know who my accusers were, because I stuck to those guns, I got Brother Viagratai to 5 or 6 times lie. So let's just go with it.
So instead of playing the whole entire hour-and-a-half video of this, because like I said, it's on our channel, I'm just going to take the clips of each one of these where Mike goes after him. Kind of reminds me of a pit bull going after
Let me ask you, that Thursday night you pulled me in the back room, Jim. You said that a couple of sisters complained about it. The fornication or the immorality in the language. Right? Is that what you said? You said a couple of sisters complained about it. The immorality in language. Do you recall saying that?
I remember saying that.
Okay.
And
who are the 2 sisters?
I remember, I'm not going to say who the 2 sisters are, but it was talked about in field service because of comments that were heard about the book. And I don't know where they got the comments.
Okay.
If someone...
You said that a couple of sisters complained.
Mm-hmm.
When they approached you, Jim, did they approach you too? They just approached Jim?
No, I haven't been out there.
Okay, so when they approached you then, as a spiritual shepherd, you encouraged them to apply Matthew 18. And when they came back to you, what did they say that I said?
Matthew 18 doesn't apply.
Why?
Why?
Because you did not sin against those individuals.
This is what is interesting about this, because it went from a formal complaint by 2 sisters.
Hauling me in the back room, mind you.
Yeah, a complaint by 2 sisters, a formal complaint. Now it's down to it was heard in field service. It was comments made during field service.
So that is not an official charge of complaint.
Yeah.
Okay? So now notice he also said Matthew 18 doesn't apply. Do you people realize, Jehovah's Witnesses, do you comprehend that the very second an elder says that your ecclesiastical rights are violated? See, I'm not going to say your biblical rights, because this goes beyond biblical understanding. This is an ecclesiastical right. You have the right to stand before your accusers, and these elders just violated that ecclesiastical right by saying Matthew 18 doesn't apply. So now, next clip, so you got something else you want to add.
So do you think he's going to be honest now?
Well, no. There is no way on God's green earth. You know why? Because we manufactured this videotape. I know what the outcome is.
We edited it. We know what the outcome is.
We know what's going to come up. So let's just watch some more. So now we've got him. Now, just so we can keep track, we've got him saying that a couple of sisters complained, officially charged Mike and Kim.
Matthew 18 doesn't apply.
Doesn't apply. And then it also went to, it was talked about in field service. But remember, I got him to repeat or pretty much admit what he said behind closed doors that a couple of sisters complained.
I would like to make a comment about what happened after this. You know, many of you know that Mike ended up getting the circuit overseer involved, and the circuit overseer knew we recorded this, knew what had happened, and he told Mike that he made a trip all the way down to our congregation and sat all of the elders down in the Kingdom Hall and explained to them how Matthew 18 does apply and that Mike was right and they owed him an apology. I just wanted to bring
Which, by the way, I never got.
happened.
Never happened. Oh no. Oh no. Too much pride from these elders.
Yep.
So then you're not going to allow me to apply Matthew 5:23 in this matter to make peace with those who obviously have a problem with the book? Because you said, Jim, there was a couple of sisters who complained.
The sisters I heard the complaints from, the way it came through was talking in the car groups in service. Shiloh probably would know as well as anybody who was in that car group when we discussed the book that day. Because it was a couple different times it was discussed. I don't even know for sure exactly what it was, but I heard it came through. I went and got the book to read it so I could sit down with you and let you know that it bothered some people when we could talk about it. So what did I do? Rather than encourage someone to go out and read the book or buy the book, I said I'll take it upon myself to read it and know what's being talked about.
Do you friends see why it's important to record any meeting with the elders? The way I heard it, the way it came through, my
Hearsay,
goodness,
gossip?
hearsay. So what you did, what this elder did is he took it upon himself to go out and buy the book on idle gossip, on hearsay. And yet Watchtower says, elders are not policemen. If this is not a freaking policeman, then hey, someone educate me to what a policeman is. Yeah. When a policeman hears little tidbits of a crime, they investigate. And that's exactly what Elder Viagratai did.
Yeah. So, that we keep it straight. It went from Mike being hauled in the back room Thursday night, and then he got him, Elder Viagratai, to repeat it, that two sisters complained about my book as an official to go into the elders.
That's right. The two witness rule. A couple of sisters complained.
So now it's down to he heard sisters talking.
Excuse me. The way it came through.
The way it came through, which probably translates to his wife heard out in service.
Yeah. So now he's hearing it second and third information hand. Oh my God, these guys are just...
So he goes and buys my book because he's heard, this through the grapevine or whatever,
Yeah.
So...
But keep in mind what we said earlier. When he had allegedly heard these complaints, the book had not been published at this point. From what we can recall, that when we sat down during all of this back in 2003, the closest that we could remember is that from the time I got hauled in the back room was approximately a week after the book had been on the shelf.
Yeah, and the elders, this was recorded in May of 2003, and my book was published in March. So,
So you're only talking a few short weeks in between all of this.
Yeah, about 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's not much time at all, especially for sisters to have gone and gotten my book and read it, and now they're talking about it in service. The timeline just wasn't sure.
No.
And what's interesting is Shyla remembers a conversation she had in Brother Viagratai's van, and his wife was there. He wasn't, but his wife was there. And a few of the younger sisters were joking about my book that was coming out. And they said, oh, well, if there's no sex and violence in it, then I don't want to read it. And they were joking about this. So we thought maybe that may have been something the elder's wife heard too. We're not exactly sure, all what, led up to this, but
the fact remains.
Yes.
The evidence is clear that Brother Viagratai hauled me in the back room and said two sisters complained, and I made him commit to those words.
This was the
That's
evidence
the evidence
presented.
Exactly. Okay, next
We're
clip.
really getting into that legalese, aren't we?
I know.
Yeah. All right, next clip.
But see, what we're saying is you should have told us when they approached you and said they were offended by it, you should have asked them if they applied Matthew 18 first.
Because it seems like whenever a problem comes up, Matthew 18 gets totally put on the back burner.
I understand that. But Matthew 18, even if you applied Matthew 18 and I read that book, it wouldn't have changed a thing.
Well, yeah, because you'd be approaching me in the basis of Matthew 18, but I want to get to the two sisters, a couple of sisters that complained, because you know what, Jim? To my knowledge, it's only 4 sisters that have that book.
I don't even know if these people read the book.
There you go.
I don't even know if they read it.
There you go. So it's hearsay,
Okay,
Jim.
is it hearsay anymore when I got the book? That's why I don't bought the book. Did
Okay.
I come here without reading the book?
Why did you buy the book? Based on hearsay.
Yep.
So you don't know whether they had Deanna's book confused with Kim's or not.
So you don't know for sure if the ones talking about my book actually read it.
No, I don't know if they read it.
Okay.
And it doesn't make any difference because I went and read it.
I don't even know if the sisters read the book. But does that even matter? Because I bought the book and I read. Do you see how he deflected away from the two sisters that filed or lodged an official complaint? Now he's deflecting.
And he's done a complete 180 because he doesn't even realize now that we have caught him in a lie.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I don't even know if they read the book. Did you not think to ask the sisters? I mean, honestly, you should have asked the sisters, Brother Viagratai. Specifically, what were they offended about? You should have specifically asked them, well, did you read the book? But you never did. Yeah, and these guys were appointed by Holy Spirit. Wow, if Holy Spirit is leading you men like this, I don't want to live forever with you guys on a paradise earth. I just don't want to live with you because you're a bunch of blooming idiots.
and liars.
Yeah, can you imagine Paradise Earth with Brother Viagratai at the helm?
Oh, hell no.
A couple of sisters complained. Well, who are the sisters? Well, then he deflects and says, well, I don't even know if they read the book.
And
wow,
now it's to
that's
the
what you
point.
call justice.
And now it's to the point to where Matthew 18 doesn't
the
apply.
Bible.
And it doesn't matter because he went and bought the book and he's offended.
Yeah. So this is going to play in a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, it gets real interesting.
30 years ago I wouldn't have done it. Since I turned around and changed my life. This is the stuff I lived with for 50 years, before I became.
Oh, no, Elder Russ. Don't think you're off the hook either. You're going to be dealt with at the end.
Yeah, he did. We do have something
Oh,
on him.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, you know what? I almost have to insist that I be given the opportunity to apply Matthew 5:23 through 24, because you said there was a couple sisters that complained.
I heard it through the grapevine.
You know what, Jim?
And I heard that through the grapevine. I don't even know who they are.
Okay.
I just heard it through the grapevine.
But if there's a couple of...
Isn't it interesting how we go from a couple of sisters complain to now I don't even know who they are?
Heard it through the grapevine.
Really? You're approaching me on stuff that is nothing more than just hearsay? Do you hear how manipulative these elders are? These corporate elders will lie right to your face. And yet we're supposed to trust them with our lives. When the going gets tough and we need to turn to our congregational elders for direction, they will lie to you.
And the scary part is they're called Kobe's now, but he was actually the PO of our congregation and had been for 15 years at that point. And I mean, this is just incredible, that it has gone from, but like I said, we have the entire video, and how you remain calm through this, I do not know. I really don't, because
You know how I remained calm? Because I knew we were video recording it.
This is true.
I knew from the minute I got hauled in that back room that I was going to be lied to, because the timeline of the couple of sisters complaining did not fit with the date of the book being released publicly. So I knew he was approaching me on lies, and I just had to work things out, keep asking the same question. Who were my accusers? I had that ecclesiastical right to face my accusers.
Plus,
and now we've gone to, well, I don't even know who they are.
heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, so...
And what's interesting is this is the same Brother Viagra is the same brother that had our congregation, we need a lawn tractor, and had us vote on a resolution to buy a lawn tractor, and then go, phew, I'm glad you all agreed, because I already bought it.
Yep. Okay, we have a couple more clips.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna let me approach.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
You don't even remember.
I don't remember. I heard it like a side conversation. It's got to be months and months.
We're sorry, and I appreciate that, because I don't want to do anything that scuffles anybody either. Would you do me a favor then, brothers? If you hear anyone else complaining about the book, would you please encourage them to apply Matthew 18?
If we will do that, but they may have legitimate complaints.
They still have to approach me on it.
Right.
You know what?
I understand that, but I guess
if I'm driving down a road and I see my brother committing fornication, am I obligated to apply Matthew 18? Russ, am I obligated to apply Matthew 18? If I'm driving down the road and I see my brother committing fornication, am I obligated to apply Matthew 18?
you're obligated to tell them to report it. That's
so
the
I'm
obligation.
still approaching my
sense,
brother on Matthew 18. You answered correctly. I am.
Rather than listening to what anybody said, I got to copy the book to read it for myself, to know what was going on. Because I just overheard this little bit, and a few people talking, and I just said, if you want me to find out, just find out for yourself. Because I know.
And we're going to be asked what we're doing about it, and now, having called on you and discussed it with you, we're going to be able to say we're
Okay,
People are going to ask what we're doing about it. Really, Elder Russ? You only overheard a little bit. You took it upon yourself to buy the book and read it. You just admitted that you don't even know if the sisters read the books or not, and yet now you're going to come up with something like, well, the brothers are going to want to know if we're doing something about it. You two elders are the only two that read the book. You lodged the complaints. There's nothing else to settle.
Oh, by the way, he does that for the number 2 because he used to be a catcher in baseball. That's not
Number
the devil.
2.
That's not the devil sign.
That's right.
Actually, in sign language, the palm towards you is bullshit. And
yeah.
The palm out like this is rock on, and then if you do the thumb, beep, 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 that's Chihuahua.
Well, that's what. See, you two elders, bullshit, yapping chihuahuas. That's all you are. But do you see how these men will absolutely, these corporate elders will absolutely sit here and play this ecclesiastical bullshit game with people that are smarter than they are.
Yeah, and this is how they try to control people.
Yeah.
And if you notice, they can only get this power and this authority if you allow them to.
Give it to them.
We did it and was quiet and let them talk because, trying to defend it. We went through all this just so we could record this, and get it for what it was. Now we would have just kicked him out of our house and said, get the hell out of here.
But, Russ, Elder Russ.
Oh, is it Russ's turn?
You're not off the hook. Let's play the first clip.
All right.
Well, I guess I'll start it out. I guess I was kind of flabbergasted to the point that I really don't know what to say. So I'm going to let the Bible do the talking here. I'm going to just review a few things that I saw in the book, and then we'll look up some scriptures.
So you read the book?
Well,
You read the book?
I read the book, yeah.
Okay.
Boy, that was a mighty big word for an elder. I guess I was flabbergasted. But did you notice I asked him twice, did you read the book? And what did he say? I read the book.
Yeah. So, I know where we're going with this. Next clip.
Okay.
I read the book, or I skimmed through it. I didn't read every word, but I read quite a few of the pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I was offended.
Interesting.
Backpedaled. I skimmed through. See, one will lie, and the other one will swear to it.
Yeah.
You can't trust these elders whatsoever. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And so, to me, that translates to Brother Viagratai read it, wrote the pages down, the number of the pages, and gave Brother Russ the book and said, look on these pages.
And said, find some good scriptural counsel so that we can so that we can crucify this sister for writing a book. And by God, she's never going to write another book when we get done with her.
Ha ha.
Wrong.
Yeah, if they only knew, huh?
Yeah, their manipulative mind control tactics did not work.
Right. And it made a heck of a video, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. And it just shows that, if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you happen to stumble across this, really listen to what you're being told, what's being explained. Comprehend that these elders didn't lie once, didn't lie twice, didn't lie 3 times, 4, 5. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was about a total of 6 times.
And then the other elder lied also.
Oh yeah, I read the book. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
do you really think we can put trust in elders after this?
Watchtower can spin whatever propaganda wheel they want during their district conventions, their regional conventions, international conventions, whatever the hell they decide to call them. But the evidence has been presented to you. They will lie.
I just happened to think of an analogy. It's almost like a cotton candy machine. You know how they have that big tub and they're spinning the sugar and it's like flying all over like spider webs, and they get that cotton candy and you put it up to your mouth and you think it's substance, but you put it in your mouth and it just melts into nothing.
Gone away. Exactly. And that's what the elder bodies are like. You think that there's substance. You think there's ecclesiastical substance behind these men. There's not. They can't even comprehend that Matthew 18 applies in every situation. And before these elders even came to my house, they should have recognized that ecclesiastical step at Matthew 18 was thrown right out the door.
Yep. So just like cotton candy, witnesses bite into something they think has substance. It doesn't.
Nothing
So it's
there.
just an illusion.
Yep.
A sugary illusion. I like that.
Me too.
Clowns, cotton candy.
Yeah. Talk about clownology. Oh my God. Like I said, if I had to do it all over again today, knowing what I know today, oh yeah.
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 Can you believe this video has taken us all day to do?
I know. That's what happens when we
really
go old school,
hate
huh?
the old school. Oh my goodness. I hate this old editing program. I hate. But anyway.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And
welcome new subscribers.
Yep. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach us at watchtower.exposed.
Yeah, because I'm having trouble with YouTube connecting with the Google and the email account and stuff. I'm not getting messages. So please, go to watchtower.expose if you need to get a hold of us, or on Facebook. I haven't been able to go to Facebook and check my messages for the past couple of days, because with this old school, it takes me so long now to edit programs that it takes forever, to edit and upload now. It's like taking 3 times as much. So anyway, thank you for your patience, and we love you all, and you have a great weekend.
Bye.